Okay, our next video is kind of current. It's all about the Oscars and what happened in the Oscars in relations to something I've reacted to about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Whoa, it's been almost a month ago. Start of the month. It's the whole Kendrick Lamar thing.
Whoever sees this and subscribes right now will get a free battle that never ends. And as a bonus, you can get Drake's sold out show tickets, postponed for a later date. Are you tired yet?
Yes, I'm very, very tired. No, I'm not. I love it so much. It's been a year to remember. And this is from May, or technically March of 2024 till March of 2025. I think we're done.
I feel like round and round we go on this merry-go-ride of drama and fun. And yet again, more headlines continue to be made since one of the biggest hip-hop beefs in history. I mean, look, you know what's bad when
it's the rap battle for the biggest rap battle in history. Just all those guys who cover rap and stuff and music, please just admit it.
Oscars and the Academy Awards start to weigh in on things and get involved. They're always behind the curve on what's trending and what's actually happening in the world. But when they start throwing shots, it's a brand new level. I mean, hell, at this point, maybe Trump could just have another Jerry Springer type episode and just invite Drake and Kendrick to the Oval Office and let the cameras roll. But I digress. You guys are sending me this. You want me to check
You did that with Zelensky. It was just Zelensky.
this out? Let's see what the Oscars were joking about last night in relation to Kendrick and Drake.
Well, we're halfway through the show, which means it's time for Kendrick Lamar to come out and call Drake a pedophile.
A minor.
Halfway through the show, Super Bowl reference right there.
What are you so shocked, Knox? Come on.
Don't worry, I'm lawyered up. Anyway.
Of course you are.
Before we go any further, how about a hand for our brilliant conductor, Michael Bearden, and the incredible Academy Orchestra.
Wow.
Are we done yet with this?
And concertmaster Charlie Bisharat.
We got any more shots?
I don't think so, but I haven't seen the show.
And ladies and
What a smooth transition from Conan.
there is no instrument he cannot play. Here he is again, all the way from the Juilliard School of Music, Arrakis campus, on harp, the sandworm from Dune.
What? What does that have to do with Kendrick Lamar?
Weird bit.
You see, let me explain show business. When you spend that much on a bit, you got to do it twice. Ladies and gentlemen, they're such good friends that
That joke didn't land with me. I think that was
Because it's the Oscars. Only one man can land a joke on the Oscars, and that's Ricky Gervais. And he will never, ever do the Oscars.
laugh track.
sometimes they trade middle initials just for fun.
Hang on. We got to bring it back, though, to the meat, the real joke.
Yeah, Knox, please. Just let's. There's only 2 sentences in that one that's worth a damn.
Well, we're halfway through the show, which means it's time for Kendrick Lamar to come out and call Drake a pedophile.
I mean, he didn't even censor it like Kendrick did at the Super Bowl. Kendrick censored it. Conan's like, I'm not censoring this. There's no PDF file here. We're just going to come out and say it. Wow. What a way to use a joke to indirectly, basically just associate Drake with the whole PDF file allegations.
I think Drake's lawyer is preparing another revision for the lawsuit and including the Oscar, the Academy, and Conan.
Wow.
Don't worry, I'm lawyered up. Anyway.
Conan's lawyered up, so he's ready to go.
And then, yeah, get lawyered up. Reference to the lawsuit. I mean, I never had it on my 2025 bingo card that we're going to get Conan O'Brien dropping Kendrick and Drake bars, but here we are. Kendrick, it's just everywhere. Drake is never going to get a break from this. I mean, they not like us on every single platform and social media joke that can be spun. So I just went and found this from Skylar Hiley, who said he wrote the Kendrick Lamar joke and bet our executive producer $50 that it would kill. Just made $50. That's an easy return on
Good one, Skylar.
investment there. He said, thank you to the Academy and S&P for folding and not cutting this joke.
And I want to say one more thing. It's ABC. This was aired on ABC, which means it aired on a Disney-owned channel. Just think about how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, Universal and Disney are two major rivals. I think there's a reason why this joke got approved.
People don't realize is obviously a lot of the jokes and bits are done by writers that the front man, the presenter, in this case, Conan O'Brien, then delivers to the audience. So,
of course,
in a sense, Drake can relate to that because he's got a ghostwriter for his jokes. And also,
nice bit of editing there, Knox. Straight to the Pac-Man ghost.
I think one of the most important things to note too is that the jokes are reviewed, right? Whatever is written in the material, that gets reviewed before it gets delivered on live television. Obviously, there'll be moments when the comedian or whoever's presenting will improvise and go a little bit off script. But for the most part, they do stick to the script. They stick to the program.
Yeah, he reads off the prompter. You have to prompt the prompter, and the copy has to be approved always.
So this is something that was calculated, that was premeditated, that was reviewed and approved.
What's calculating? What's calculating? I can always predict your angle. I butchered that line.
And put into the program. And since obviously we're making a Drake video that I really wasn't planning on making, let's just catch up on the news and everything that's going on and just see if this comes around later on in this beef. Drake officially cancels remaining Australia and New Zealand tour dates due to scheduling conflict. I love how that...
Wait, how does this video goes into news about Drake? Fine, okay.
Is put in quotes. In a statement exclusively provided to Rolling Stone, Drake's rep confirmed the surprise cancellation, citing a scheduling conflict. We are actively working on rescheduling these dates along with adding some additional shows. The statement reads, all tickets for the affected shows will remain valid for the new dates. Refunds will be available for those who prefer. But please note that as these shows are sold out, any refunded tickets will be released for sale. And that's kind of been the official stance from the Drake side of things, that these shows are sold out, that they're still in high demand, they're still highly...
Apparently, there were some tickets to be sold before it was taken off and given the cancellation order.
Valuable. They really have been working hard through the media press and through the media machine to get that message and that point across that, hey, these are sold out, right? Don't look over here. That's the only reason, is because of a scheduling conflict. The other thing I'm seeing that these...
Yeah, the thing is, a tour that large and at so far away, which is Australia and New Zealand compared to, the States, you plan that months, if not at least a year in advance. What scheduling stuff? What, did he suddenly get a script of a movie that he really has to do?
Media sites are running with too, which is really interesting, as Drake, meanwhile, was making his own headlines. He just dropped a surprise collab album. Remember how we talked about media narratives and manipulation? It's really interesting that this album, everywhere I see it by these media sites with Party Next Door, keeps referencing a surprise collab album, almost like we're trying to soften the blow of how it does in terms of sales, but it's doing incredibly well in terms of streaming numbers, in terms of sales. Like, you can't take that away from them, but I just find it interesting that we're calling it a surprise drop. We've all known this was coming. This was pre-announced, much in the same way that Drake's show was pre-announced. Like, when you plan a tour, there is a lot that goes into that planning. Logistics, travel, crew, staging, sets, venues, everything. Everything is meticulously planned out and thought out. It's not like it's an off-the-cuff type of, hey, I'm just showing up in Australia, let me go play a couple venues.
Yeah, and the thing about venues is he is probably doing maybe not big stadiums, but like certainly venues that can hold a few thousand people. Those venues on the regular hold other performances, whether it's stage performances, plays, musicals, or just a regular, some other artist doing a performance. So they need to book that venue at least a few months in advance because that's how it works. That's how everywhere works, especially in big venues.
No, this is something that is months and months out. This was planned back in 2024. This was highly anticipated. So all of a sudden to have a scheduling conflict when you're in the middle of tour, that is not a normal thing that an artist does or goes through, especially if you have sold out shows.
And this is, regardless of the beef, this is Drake. Even if he's not the number one artist in the world, he is definitely in the top 3. And that means it's probably sold out. And like I said, we kind of know some people said that they were tickets that you could have still bought for the other 4 shows. But I don't know.
You have sold out venues. You're not just going to want to reschedule them. And what are these scheduling conflicts? I found it. I found the reason why he had to suddenly get on a plane, leave another country, and rush back to Toronto, canceling the rest of his shows.
Fantastic on ESPN Plus. It's going to be great.
There it is. Him and Little Yachty. Obviously, Yachty would have been upset. They had a bromance date that they were going to show up and go to.
What is he doing at WWE? What is he on Raw? What the hell is that?
WWE Elimination Chamber in Toronto.
Oh, it's a pay-per-view.
So WWE overplaying a sold-out show. Caught it. Got the scheduling conflict. It all makes total sense. He's like a kid who's got
Where's my sarcasm sign? I don't have it.
on camera for the first time. He's so excited to be in the background. What a big moment for him. And look, I know I've done a lot of trolling of Drake lately. Obviously, one of the big things that I'm still annoyed about is the reactors being mentioned in the lawsuit and all that. We've talked about that. We can go on and on about it. But to be fair to Drake, his shows that he has played so far in Australia and New Zealand, they have been sold out. So anything that anyone says is speculation, right? Until you see official numbers from ticket sales, until you get something from the venue, well, it's
I feel like he's setting up a punch.
only going to be he said, she said in terms of media coverage, in terms of story coverage. It is really interesting, though, that you have 4 shows left. You have 4 dates left. And all of a sudden, you just pull out of that, right? That is, it's just that it's yet another example of something very strange and interesting that continues to happen
Come on, Knox, just give the punch, dude.
with Drake, with how he's moving, with everything he's decided to do since the Kendrick Lamar battle. And while we're still on this topic, one of the more interesting stories that I think has happened in updates is that Drake has pulled iHeartMedia out of his lawsuit in Texas. So the only remaining party that Drake is going after now is setting up for this clash of the titans between him and one of the biggest music labels in the world, UMG. And I can't imagine that Drake is very happy after that Super Bowl. Hell, even his lawyer has now referenced the Super Bowl and Kendrick Lamar performing Not Like Us at the Super Bowl,
Yeah, the augmented lawsuit.
suggesting that UMG had everything postponed so that they could continue to push the narrative at the Grammys. They could continue to defame Drake at the Super Bowl. So things are getting even more interesting within that legal battle, and we'll see where and how it all develops from here. And look, I always try to step into someone else's shoes and look at things from their perspective. I think tactically from Drake's side of things now, I'm not sure that this lawsuit is the best to continue. And what I mean by that is
Obviously, that lawsuit has a long shot. Plus, it's in Texas. If I think they served it in federal court in Texas. I'm guessing they were shopping for a venue because of anti-slap laws and all that stuff, because this wouldn't fly in California.
he's just had a successful drop with Party Next Door, right? He's showing off the R&B vibes. He's showing off the singing again. He's doing well. He's crushing it in that lane at this moment in time. He was doing successful shows in Australia. You know, he had that iconic moment when he's walking out on stage. He's got the bullet holes in his back. He's got the smoke coming out of it. He had a lot of people talking about that. And if he wants to move the needle, if he wants to distract people and get everyone to move on from this beef, then it's clear the way forward, right? Continue dropping your albums. continue showing that, hey, this is not affecting you, that you're living your best life, that you're out here doing what you do, getting back to the music, getting back to your art. And I can't help but feel like there's sort of that contradiction happening with Drake right now, where on one...
I have to say, Knox is a very crafty YouTuber. He knows how to pull and pull and pull, and he pulled it beyond the 8-minute mark towards the 10-minute mark with not saying a lot. Pretty crafty there, Knox.
One side, yeah, he wants to keep moving forward. He's a workaholic. He's always going to be putting out music. He's always going to be grinding in the studio. That's just his nature. That's what he's used to at this point in time. But there's that other side of him that's still really upset about everything that's happened in this beef and the fact that so many people are giving him L's. And he feels like he has to have a win from it, right? He has to still find a way to manipulate and flip this narrative and come out on top because his ego won't allow it. So he keeps diving back into this.
And this was apparent during the beef and all the months up till now. Probably Kendrick knew what he was talking about.
He's going to keep treading the waters with UMG. It seems like he's going to keep pushing this lawsuit forward. More stories are going to come out about this, but by doing this lawsuit, by constantly coming back to it, it's going to continue to bring up the beef. It's going to continue to keep it relevant. I know we had the Super Bowl and now you have the Oscars. You have situations that continue to reignite the narrative and continue to reignite the conversation and keeping Drake within the same conversation as Kendrick Lamar, which for Drake's long-term perspective and future, I don't think it's healthy for him and his image. But anyways, I'm going on too much now. That's enough game for one day.
Yeah, way too much, dude.
Just thought we had some interesting stories, some interesting developments to catch up on. And who knows if that comes out in the music later. It's always good to just keep a pulse on it, to keep you guys informed on what's going on so that we know, obviously, if disses drop, if tracks drop, what they're relevant to and what they mean. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Listen, if you're here at the end, obviously enjoying the content, do me a huge favor. Support the channel directly. Subscribe, notifications on.
All right, go subscribe to Knox Hill, of course. The link will be in the description down below. But I want to bring up something that he didn't bring up. I thought he would, but he didn't. That's why I listened to the whole entire video. I want to touch upon one more thing before we kind of end this thing. Is the whole beef was really big in certain circles, in the culture and all that stuff, whoever was covering rap. Now, I was aware of it like a couple of days, 4 or 5 days afterwards. I think I've said that many times in other reactions. But what I found interesting is the fact that despite of it being a massive, massive thing, a lot of little corners have not yet actually got to it. Or if they did, they didn't say anything. And it took a few months until it actually hit mainstream. And by the time it hits mainstream, for most of the people who were there from the very beginning, that's where it's like, okay, this is old news, blah, 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 move over. Oh, you've finally caught on to this? Oh, welcome. And that moment was actually in the Super Bowl. Not the Grammys, but the Super Bowl. And from then on out, whoever started with this thing or whoever covered this thing on different YouTube channels or on different reaction channels, for them, it already died. And then we have another facet of it with Conan O'Brien. So this story is dead unless somebody puts out a diss track, which I don't think nobody actually wants to. Drake doesn't want to because he'll be humiliated again. And Kendrick doesn't want to because he not only poisoned the guy, he buried the guy, and then he danced on his grave. Enough is enough. See you in the next video.
Scrolling through the trash, can't believe my eyes. Worthless vids, man, no surprise. Stupid thumbnails, faces all deranged. Looking for gold, all I find is strange.